What's going on, guys? Getting in the green. We got a Thursday night NFL Showdown slate for you guys. What was supposed to be a great game, still a decent game, but COVID absolutely annihilated the Packers this week. So we got Arizona, Green Bay, some big names, and then with all that COVID news, we're definitely going to have some flyers we can take a look at here tonight.
Yeah, definitely a little bit disappointing. There's going to be some opportunity because there's going to be some random guys that go off here, but from a pure football competitiveness standpoint, very disappointing. This was going to be a premier game. I don't want to count out Aaron Rodgers and Green Bay quite yet, but odds are definitely stacked against them here. I do expect the Cardinals to win this game, but yeah, anything can happen, and there's some flyers here, so let's get a look at and go from the top here with Kyler Murray.
Yeah, 12,000 for Kyler Murray, and yeah, I mean, he's pretty much a must-play for me. I mean, I don't see a scenario where Green Bay's defense can really slow this guy down. He'll be one of the top 2 or 3 scorers on the entire slate. And like we said, there's some value plays here because of the COVID. You should definitely be able to fit Kyler into your lineup, and I don't mind him as a captain either.
Yeah, Kyler's must-play. For me, really, there's only like a couple guys I'm going to be playing at captain. He's one of them. Obviously, greatly impairs the rest of your lineup. He's the most expensive player. If you play him at captain, he costs $18,000. So obviously, be aware of that. But there's a couple ways this game could play out. If you think Arizona's going to smack them, then Kyler's really is a really great play here because they have so many weapons on offense. They spread the ball around. I don't expect one particular Cardinal receiver or tight end to go off. I think it's going to be spread around, so the consistent will be that Kyler's the one throwing the ball there. So I definitely see a scenario where Kyler just outscores everyone by a lot and would be a great captain, but you're going to have to really make some sacrifices in your lineup there. So torn on it, absolutely must play either way, 50-50 on whether he's going to be captain or not in about 50% of my lineups.
All right, next we got Aaron Rodgers at 11,400, and I think a lot of people are going to be off of him because he's got no Devontae Adams tonight. But Aaron Rodgers is still Aaron Rodgers. He finds he finds a way to win without Adams generally. I don't love him as a captain here, but I'm going to be playing plenty of Aaron Rodgers at 11,400. I don't mind that spot at all for him.
Yeah, I'm with you. He's going to be in the majority of my lineups. I'm going to have a couple without him. Like, basically, I'm going to make certain lineups. I make my lineups based on the game flow to maximize. So on the lineup that I think Arizona wins this via SmackDown, I probably have Rodgers off that, and that's going to be the one where Kyler maybe will be my captain. On the one where I'm making it, hey, maybe this is going to be a little more competitive, Rodgers is still a must-play for me. He is not a captain for me either, but he'll probably be on 60-70% of my lineups.
All right, Devontae Adams is out with COVID, as we all know. We've got Hopkins playing injured, but should be playing tonight, 10,600. And where are you at on Hopkins?
It's a tough one. I mean, I might play him on the lineup that I'm not playing Rodgers in those couple lineups that I'm playing. Generally speaking, I have trouble paying for him. Very weird year for Hopkins in general. He's been performing, but in really the opposite of way of what I think everyone expected him to perform. He's not getting the catches and the yards. I don't think he's gone over 100 yards once this year. He's just getting touchdowns. So I expect this to be a decently high-scoring game. He could for sure get in the end zone here, but hard to trust, especially injured all week. He just doesn't have that boom that he used to because there's so many weapons. So I don't think his play is so much worse than it ever was. They just spread the ball around because they're a good team. It reminds me of Dallas with some of their guys. It's when you have that many offensive weapons, it's hard to key in on one person. So not a must-play for me, especially at that price point. I do think he could easily get a touchdown or two and be a guy that's inoptimal. But at that price, you really need to count on like 2 touchdowns from him, and I don't think you get it. And I think the Ertz addition may take away a little bit from Hopkins in the red zone there. I know he scored last week in the red zone, but I think they're going to be using Ertz a lot. So I'm not saying you don't play him. He's definitely going to be in some of my lineups, but I would say he's going to be out of more lineups than he's in for me.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, I think I'll definitely put him in some lineups here. He's got 2 touchdown upside. He likes to show out on primetime slates. He is the best receiver on that team still. But yeah, you got Ertz taking some red zone touches, and I do think he is banged up, and if they get ahead big enough here, man, they will, limit his snaps there to kind of rest him a little bit if they can. But this is a big game for both these teams, so until it gets out of hand, I think you will get a heavy dosage of Hopkins here. 10,600, it's expensive, man. So I don't know. I'm kind of 50-50 on him. I do think he could be a must-play, but you're probably just going to have a hard time affording him with some of these other guys at the top. So,
and I'd rather play Rodgers there when we're talking about the same price, very close to the same price.
Yeah, I think Hopkins might have a higher ceiling. But, yeah, I mean, I don't know. It just depends on the game flow here. Next, we've got probably one of my favorite players on the slate is Aaron Jones. And at $9,000, I think you're getting a huge discount off those top guys. I also think this guy's going to catch 10 passes tonight. They're going to run a lot more routes with him. Those targets that go to Davante Adams are going to get spread around a little more. I think Rodgers checks down to Jones a lot tonight. He's got touchdown upside, and he's probably my number one captain as well.
Yep, I'm with you. We're in agreement there. Very similar to what I was saying earlier. There may be one or two lineups where I don't play Aaron Jones based on I'm going to make the whole lineup as if Arizona crushes them. Other than that, he's going to be must play for me. He is probably going to be my most played captain. Very similar reasoning for you. He's the only guy left. If you think this is going to even be remotely competitive, it's going to run through Aaron Jones. I really expect the touchdowns to run through Aaron Jones too. He's either going to run in or he's going to get those swing passes from Rodgers like he does anyways. So great play here. I think he's pretty relatively safe too for the exact reason you said. He should get a lot of catches even if they're getting blown out. So very safe play. He's going to probably be up there for one of my most played, and he is my best captain here as well.
All right, next we've got, let's just talk about both these Arizona running backs at the same time. Connor at 7,800, Edmonds at 7,000. I know Connor's been getting it done a little more, but man, I'm leaning Edmonds here of the two. I think you're getting the price discount, the passing game work, and sooner or later, man, this guy's going to take a long one to the house.
Yeah. I like Edmonds better as well, especially if you think this game's competitive or even remotely competitive. Edmonds is better. He just is better. Connor, you're focusing on the touchdowns, which, you know what? On an offense that scores this many points, it's worked out for him so far. But I'm not paying more money, $7,800, to hope for touchdowns, especially with Kyler Murray and his ability to throw him and all those weapons. Sure, he could get in the end zone. He could even get in the end zone twice. I don't want to base my lineup on that. I like Edmonds more. I think he's going to be involved in the passing game. I think he's going to be involved like he always is. Really, both guys in DraftKings aren't necessarily must-plays for me. If I'm playing one of them, I'm going to be playing Edmonds at 7,000, but I don't think either guy is a must-play for me here.
Yeah, I agree. All right, let's get into the Arizona receiving core here. We'll just do all three of them here together. Kirk, 7,200. A.J. Green, 6,800. And Zach Ertz at 6,200, the new addition. Like we said with Kyler, man, it's so hard to pick which one of these guys is going to get the touchdown each week. I'm leaning Ertz here over the other two. I think he has the higher red zone usage. I think he's going to run more routes here in his second week than he did in the first. He only ran 19 routes the first game out with them. I think it's only going to trend upwards from there for Ertz. But none of them are must-plays. I could see myself just fading all three of those guys and dropping down. I already got Kyler. So for me, I'd probably say A.J. Green's 2 and then Kirk is 3. And I know Kirk gets the touchdowns, but yeah, I think it'll go Ertz, Green, and then Kirk for me.
Yeah, so I'm a little different. I really like Ertz this week. I like Ertz in general. I just think he's going to thrive on this offense, personally. I believe he's still going to be the last guy covered because of all these weapons. I think he's going to be a great safety valve, and I think he's going to be a huge red zone target. So there's definitely concern of the snap count, him getting kind of used to the offense. But, obviously he got the long touchdown last week, but I really liked he almost got another touchdown on the 5-yard line. I don't know if it was a little shovel pass or run or something, but they tried to give him the ball again. I think that continues. I like him there. Ertz is definitely my play out of the three of them at 6,200. He's actually going to be in a lot of my lineups. I like Ertz here. I think he does well. I'm actually more on Kirk than AJ Green. I think they're very similar. I personally just think Kirk's got a little more upside. I think he's been a little bit more consistent with his touchdowns and his general performance. But you can't go wrong. But I would go Ertz at $1,000 cheaper than Kirk as my number one. Then I'd go Kirk, and then AJ Green would be my last one at 6,800.
All right, we're going to slide past the backup quarterbacks per usual. Lazard is out, so we can skip past him. And now we're at Rondell Moore at 4,800. And I think the addition of Zach Ertz really hurt this guy, man. I think he sees 2 to 3 targets in this game. You're not really getting, $4,800 worth of value out of the guy. I mean, obviously, he's got boom anytime he touches the football, but Rondell Moore's a no for me here tonight.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, look, Rondell Moore could be a tournament winner, but except that he's either going to differentiate you or you're going to throw that money away on that lineup. That's what it is. If you feel you want to take a swing at it and differentiate yourself, sure, maybe put one in with him. But there's no level of consistency here. There's no level of confidence. The guy's explosive enough to go off, but I'm with you. I think he is absolutely at the bottom of the totem pole right now for how they use their weapons on offense. But sure, if you want to take a swing at it, but I'm not playing much of him. Maybe I'll have one, but yeah, he's not really in play for me.
Robert Tonyan. This guy's interesting because I do know when Adams goes out, this guy does take over some of that red zone share. He had a 3-touchdown game last year when Adams didn't play. He is a good big safety valve there for Rodgers. So at 4,600, Tanyan's in play for me here. I do like him in this spot. I think, if it goes as planned, I think Green Bay keeps it close enough to where they're throwing from behind the whole game. So I like Tonyan here at 4,600.
I'm with you. I like Tonyan a lot, I know a lot of people are talking about, obviously, Valdez-Scantling for a little, who actually at this point probably won't play, or Randall Cobb's going to get all the love. It's like, I think they can game plan for that, and I don't know if they can get separation when they're the one. Tanyan's going to be open, and he has the trust of Rodgers. He's going to get a lot of targets in this game. Whether you can convert them and make them into red zone targets, touchdowns, we'll see. But I think Tanyan's actually probably for me, I think he's the number one receiver on Green Bay tonight. In that sense, to me, I trust Tonyan to get looks more than I trust Cobb or anyone else on Green Bay. So Tanyan's actually probably not just do I like him, he's going to be almost a must play for me at 4,600 for that forced share of targets.
All right, let's move into the kickers. I'm not sure why we have two here for Green Bay, but you've got Prater for Arizona at 4,200, and then you got Crosby at 4,000. And I like Prater here, man. The guy's got a leg on him still. Real consistent scoring. I mean, he's hit double digits 3 times there. Arizona, for as great as that offense is, they do tend to stall out sometimes there. And, Prater's as good as they come still. So I'm on Prater there. Crosby's been super inconsistent lately.
Yeah.
I want no part of Crosby in this game. Maybe one lineup because I do see a scenario where they kick a bunch of field goals without Adams. But for the most part, for kickers, I'm going to be going Prater here.
Yeah, I think there's an argument for both. I think Prater's definitely safer, and I'll be playing a lot of Prater. They're going to score more points, I believe. Arizona is. Crosby's interesting to me just because, what you were talking about a second ago. Is this offense still good enough to move the ball but not finish the drives? Very possible. So, yeah, I will be playing a lot more Prater, but honestly, at the price, I like both of them. I think they're going to score more than some of these random flyers at the bottom here at these price points. Other than the only guy I'm looking at in a second that we're about to cover, Randall Cobb. Everyone beneath this for me, I would rather play either one of those kickers. So I'll actually probably be playing a lot of the kickers. I will have more Prater, but I'm going to mix in a little bit of Crosby.
All right, and we got Randall Cobb next, and he's kind of the last one before we have a huge drop-off here. I don't know, man. They're saying he could be the primary target. They're saying he's going to be wide receiver 1 tonight. Randall Cobb is Randall Cobb. He's had one good game this year. got everyone excited. Oh, Rodgers got his weapon back. He's still Randall Cobb. He's an aging Randall Cobb. I think he's live for 3 to 4 catches, but they didn't give you a super discount on this guy at 3,600. I'm not gonna play that much of him, man. I'm gonna play probably 1 or 2 with Randall Cobb, but for the most part, I can't trust any of these Green Bay receivers enough to really load up on any of them.
Yeah, I don't fully disagree with you. I will be playing him at the price, just for the upside of the force feeding part of it. I do like Tanyan better. I think Cobb's going to have some struggles with being the number one. And really, I think, especially like the first quarter, for example, I think we're going to see a lot of targets and almost no catches. I do think eventually, especially if they're down, the coverage loosens up a little bit, not to give up big plays. He could eat a little bit. He's still touchdown dependent to really, win you the league type of thing, win you the tournament. But I think he makes value. I do think he probably gets, 10 fantasy points here, 10, 11 fantasy points. So I'll be playing some of them. He's not a must play for me like he is for other people, but he'll probably be in above 50% of my drafts.
All right, next we got Cardinals D 3,000, Packers D 2,800. I want no part of this Packers defense, but I do think the Cardinals D at 3,000 is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I would say, though, there's going to be so many points scored, I think, by the Arizona side of things that they might be hard-pressed to end up optimal without a touchdown, even if they got 4 or 5 sacks, really played a great game as far as defense is concerned. I'm not sure with all the weapons out here tonight that they necessarily are top 5, top 6 in scoring.
Yeah, I'll play a couple Cardinals D. I'm like you. I'm not touching the Packers D. I'll play a few of them, especially in the ones like I said where I think, I'm skewing the lineup for Cardinals to destroy them. Then I think the Cardinals D. Generally, I think the Cardinals win comfortably, but I do think Packers are going to score, especially some in garbage time. I don't necessarily think Cardinals will be optimal here. They'll be, in 25% of my lineups.
All right, A.J. Dillon, 1,400, and then we'll kind of dive into the Green Bay receiving core after that. But, I think A.J. Dillon's going to get some touches here today, but, he's kind of touchdown dependent here. If he gets to punch one in instead of Jones, then, yeah, he makes value. If not, like I said, there's going to be a lot of points scored by these guys today. So I'm probably not going A.J. Dillon too often here.
I think this is the Aaron Jones show. A.J. Dillon really, to me, hasn't even looked that great. He's been fumbling. I just think they're going to, especially if they're down, they're trying to get back into it. They're going to be running with their big dog, Aaron Jones, here. So A.J. Dillon, for me, is not in play. Especially if you want to take a shot at someone, take a shot at all these random receivers that might be the ones tonight. Don't take a shot on the second-string running back when we know Aaron Jones is going to have a big role.
All right, let's look at these receivers now. And I'm going to just lump in Mercedes Lewis, who's basically their run-blocking tight end.
Yep.
Maybe a play action or two, but as touchdown-dependent as anybody comes on this slate.
Yep.
Then we've got St. Brown, Amari Rodgers, some guy named Blair, and, the one I do like is Taylor down here. So that's kind of what we got. Any of those guys catching your eye?
It's hard to say. You are throwing a dart at the board at the end of the day. I don't hate Amari Rodgers. Just a bigger guy. I think he could be in play here. I know he was just, from a depth chart standpoint, was one of the guys that would seem like he's one of the first string receivers here. So he's in play for me, but I don't have a great read on it. I think you are guessing a little bit here. I do think one of these guys, you should be playing one of these guys. It'll make your lineup at the top very playable. I think these guys are just as live to have plays as Randall Cobb is. They really are, especially if the number one corner is on Cobb here. I don't have a great read on who's going to be the one, but I do think the guy who's going to win the tournament is going to get this right.
Yeah, for me, I don't think Amari Rodgers really gets on the field, man. That guy's kind of their special teams guy, and I just don't think he's NFL ready yet at receiver. St. Brown, I think, probably has the most experience of these three.
Mm-hmm.
I think they keep Cobb in the slot. I think they move St. Brown to the outside. I don't know if that's the best place to be against Arizona, but as far as like their ex-receiver, I'm going to put my money that it's St. Brown. I don't trust him. I'll play a couple of them at this price point to take my shot. I'm not going to be touching Amari Rodgers. And then I do think Taylor has a role here, Malik Taylor. Great preseason. Obviously, he got stuck in the depth chart behind Lazard, MVS, Adams, all these guys. But he's got talent. And at $200 or $300, $200, not the worst flyer here, but my big money lineups, I'm going to just avoid all of these guys.
Yeah.
Hope they don't get in the end zone, any of them. Hope it goes through Jones and Tanyan and load up on the top end.
Yeah, this is for tournament play, for sure. 50-50s don't do it. But yeah.
That's kind of what we have for DraftKings, guys. We do want to just run through SuperDraft real quick for you guys with some multipliers that are standing out to us. We've really noticed the last couple weeks that it's just easier to win money on SuperDraft right now. These tournaments aren't filling, especially these Showdown slates are filling at like 60, 70%. You've already beat 30 to 40% of the field. It's guaranteed prizes.
Yeah.
Me personally, I'm flipping over. I'm probably going to be 60, 70% SuperDraft, 30, 40% on DraftKings moving forward, until it evens out. They're smaller prizes. You're not going to win the $1 million tournament that you could win on DraftKings. But, $40,000, $10,000 to first. We've had good success over there. And if you're talking about just building up that bankroll, SuperDraft is probably your best bet at this current moment. So
I think it's less competitive for sure. I still think there's more newbies in there. And, yeah, when we've, obviously tournaments are tournaments, but 50-50s, I've only missed a couple 50-50s, and I just had horrible dog shit lineups. Every time I'm even remotely close, I'm easily doubling up. So, yeah, there's something to be said there on SuperDraft. We are doing a lot of it.
All right, so let's run through. So just so you guys know, it's a multiplier. There's no salary cap. Play whoever you want. Each player's value gets multiplied by that multiplier. So you want to find some value there. But, no restrictions there if you just want to play all the big dogs. So let's start off. You got Kyler Murray, 1x. Aaron Rodgers, 1.15x. I'm still leaning Murray here, man.
I like Kyler at 1x still. I think he's the highest scorer of the night, and, he's still going to probably score in the 30 range.
All right, we got two guys here that are kind of close to each other. I got Aaron Jones at 1.35, which I think is ridiculously high for this guy. I'll be playing a lot of Aaron Jones here at 1.35. Yeah. Hopkins at 1.4 is not a bad spot for that guy.
No, it's not.
They made it pretty fair here for the multiplier. So of those two, what do you think?
I still think Jones is a must play for me. Jones is going to be my captain the most in here, and the captain's very similar to how it is in DraftKings. You still get extra 0.5 on whatever their multiplier is. So great multiplier for Jones. He will be one of my biggest captains there. Still like Hopkins, but I still have concerns with how they spread the ball out. I think he'll have a good game. I like that 1.4, but I like Jones way better at 1.35.
All right, then I thought this was an error, but we jumped from 1.4 to 1.85 for Kirk. Kirk 1.85, Edmonds 1.95, Connor 2x. I like Edmonds there at 1.95, man. I think he has a solidified role in this offense. He does lead that backfield in touches still. And we've just kind of been waiting. He doesn't get the red zone usage, but it's only a matter of time. We talked about this a bunch. This guy's going to catch a 20-yard touchdown pass here soon.
Yeah.
So at 1.95, I do like Edmonds here.
I like Edmonds the best out of them. Kirk could be a game winner if he gets in the end zone, especially as you're basically getting 1.85, almost a 2 times multiple. But I think Edmonds is the safest bet there for 50-50s.
All right, we got A.J. Green, 2.15, Robert Tonyan at 2.2, Cobb at 2.2, and then let's cut it off at Ertz at 2.25. We already talked about our love for Ertz over all those guys, so 2.25 on Ertz is just a great spot there.
Yep, I love Ertz there. He must play. I'm playing him in every lineup. I even have him as my captain in a couple because you're getting almost a 3.7 multiple at that point.
Yeah, Cobb, I really expected him to be much lower than these guys, so he's a no for me there. I like Tanyan at 2.2, and I thought I'd get a little more out of A.J. Green too at 2.15, just not exactly where I want to go here.
Yep.
We got Dylan at 2.3, Rondell Moore at 2.35.
I'm not playing him there.
I'm not touching either of those guys,
No.
honestly. I mean, they could definitely win you a tournament here, but that's all you're really hoping for. Kickers on SuperDraft are extremely interesting to me. I almost won the other night with Cleveland. That kicker gets his field goal blocked in the first half. I had him at captain. That hurts. But you're getting 2.4 and 2.45 on a kicker, and when they're in your captain mode, I mean, it's almost 4x.
Yeah, if they get 10, you get 40 points.
Yeah, so I mean, these games where Prater's scoring 15 points, which he's done 3 times this year,
Yep,
you would score 60 points at the captain.
yep.
Let me put that into like perspective, even with these multipliers. Like an Aaron Jones at 1.35, so he gets you about 2x. That guy would have to score 30 fantasy points
Yep.
to compare to a kicker who kicked a couple field goals and an extra point, which is just extremely viable in a game like this.
Yep.
SuperDraft more than DraftKings. I do have love for kickers over here.
Yeah. Prater's a must play for me, whether he's in captain or not. Even at 2.4, I think he's a must play. Even if he has a normal 8-point game, you know, you're getting almost 20 points from him. It's hard to get 20 points from a running back receiver normally, you know?
Yeah, I agree. So we love the kickers. Then you got Taylor 2.5, St. Brown 2.55. Like I said earlier, I'd probably lean St. Brown there, but not playing it too often. And then that's kind of where it cuts off here on SuperDraft for us. So, you know, if you want to throw a couple lineups in, take a couple shots with some of those, you know, wild card receivers. But for the most part, I mean, pick one of the quarterbacks, put Aaron Jones in there, a kicker, you know, stack it how you want to stack it. And I'll probably play, you know, a heavy Arizona lineup, a heavy Green Bay lineup, and then one where it's pretty balanced, and just hope I catch one of those going the other way.
Yep.